Hello everyone, it's Laura here and welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video I'm gonna show you how to make a Halloween themed slider card using stamps and dies by Craftin Desert Divas. These are mostly products from the new release and I think they're really fun. As a first step to make this card, I started with my background. So I took a piece of Canson XL watercolor paper and I taped it down to a hardboard. I laid down a wash of clean water and now I'm adding some color using my Gamma watercolors. Because this is a Halloween themed card, I wanted the sky to look spooky, so I went for blues, purples and blacks. So I laid down my first layer of color and I'm impatiently drying it with my heat tool. And then I come in and add the second layer, and you can see how much you can modulate the intensity of this watercolor by adding more or less water. So my first layer was quite diluted and quite transparent, I would say, whereas here the paints look really thick. So I will add the second layer, and as you can see I'm dragging the color up and down so that I get a nice gradient. And I'm sorry that this whole video is a little bit dark. It was evening when I filmed it, but I thought it would still be fun to show you how I made this card, and hopefully I can sort of tweak it a little bit and make it a bit more visible for you guys. And after I dried my second layer, because I wanted my sky to be really dark and intense, I came in with my final third layer, and then I left everything to dry. Once my background was dry, I used the silver paint in the Gamma watercolor palette to add some stars. So I simply loaded a small paintbrush with this paint and I flicked it on top of my background. To set my scene, I'm using two different dies by Craftin Desert Divas. The one with the spooky house and the spooky trees is from the Harvest Border dies, whereas this hillside border here is from the outdoor landscape dies. All the supplies will be listed on my blog. I'm cutting everything out of black cardstock, and also my card base is some black cardstock cut at a standard A2 size. This die here that will create my slider element or slit is from the Ocean Border dies, also by Craftin Desert Divas. And I'm using it to cut an opening on my front panel. I'm really sorry this is a bit dark. Again, I said it already, but sorry again. Anyway, I'm also using this little circle die to cut a little circle, and this will allow my dog to move along the slit. You will see how later. That circle die is also from the Ocean Border dies, whereas these fun images are from the Zombody stamp set, also by Craftin Desert Divas, and also from the September 2017 release. I colored it off camera, sorry, but I mainly wanted to focus on the slider part of this card. Anyway, I trimmed down my sky background so that I would have a little bit of a frame around it, and I glued it on my card base using some Tomo Monomoto glue. I'm also backing this spooky hillside border with some 3M foam tape, and I will do the same for my front panel. For this one I'm using a double layer of foam tape because I want enough space for my dog to move back and forth, and because it overlaps a little bit with the hillside border with the spooky house, for the parts that do overlap I'm using just one layer of foam tape so that everything is nice and level. I can then go ahead, remove the backing and start adhering my background panel. And I think it really looks cool against the starry background. I really like this border die. Once that was adhered, I could go ahead and insert the dog in the slider element. I'm sorry you cannot see this properly right now, but I will go back later on and change it a little bit, so I will not use a paper circle to move the dog back and forth, but I replaced that with a penny, so with a cent actually, because I live in Europe, and so you will see how I did that later. But basically, yeah, I put the circle on the back side of the panel, I put a little bit of foam tape and I glued the dog. And then I use some Tombow monomote glue to adhere the zombie to the front of my card. And I think this stamp set was really perfect for a slider card because, you know, you have the zombie on the skateboard and the dog running off with its legs, so lots of fun. And at this point, because the dog wasn't moving very much, I decided to replace the paper circle with a coin. So now you can see I have the coin, which I managed to tuck behind the slider's lid. And I used a doubled up layer of foam tape to attach the dog to the coin. And because the coin is heavy, the dog moves much more easily within the slider's lid. And that's it. That's my card for today. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video and you found it useful. If so, please let me know in the comments below. Leave this video a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel. You can visit my blog for the full list of supplies, and I hope I'll be back soon with another video. Ciao!